Zebesians in Metroids are the space pirate led by Mother Brain, who took over Zebes when they attacked the Chozos at the time when Samus was still part of the Galactic Federation. They are space pirates still unknown from the Galactic Federation and from us, the player base. But I have reasons to believe that the Zebesians are not from outer space, but are in fact from Zebes. Before I begin, I just wanted to point out that there is one glaring contradiction on why this theory may not work, and so let's address it first. Despite the name Zebesians, Daddy Yoshio Sakamoto has stated that the Zebesians are not native to the planet, and that they are called Zebesians because they have invaded the planet and took up residency and its name. It's a pretty damning piece of evidence that is hard to refute if it came from the creator himself, right? Well, I don't think so, because I'm determined to make this work, and I will tell you why Sakamoto is wrong. With that out of the way, let's begin. The Space Pirates comes in many different species, especially in the Prime games. Prime 1, 2, 3, and Federation Force all feature their own species of space pirates, but based on the lore surrounding Prime, they are highly advanced individuals and appear to have a hierarchy of sort, with the highest known rank amongst them known as the High Command. But in the 2D Metroid games, there was only ever one species of space pirates, and they are the Zebesians. Looking at the Zebesians are primitive compared to the space pirates featured in the Prime games, as they do not sport any battle armor. They seem to only rely on their carapace for defense and their claws that are able to shoot beams out for offense. The Zebesians also seem to operate almost in a hive mind-like manner, confirmed by Metroid Other M. When Samus encounters the clone Zebesians, she said this:
Say that the Zebesians, under Ridley's influence, became super aggressive. Would that really lead to the resurrection of the space pirates? Without a malicious force to lead them down that path, wouldn't they continue to merely follow their instincts, ultimately becoming no more than a swarm of feral creatures?
Why this quote is so important is because even with an exceptional leader like Ridley, the Zebesians cannot achieve and maintain an average level of intelligence, and will eventually fall into their instincts, becoming feral beasts. The only way the space pirates are able to achieve any higher form of thinking is due to Mother Brain. And with Mother Brain's guidance, they are able to achieve intelligence as they are able to operate advanced technology according to Metroid Fusion's website, which states, using these advanced technology, these galactic marauders are bent on becoming the dominant force in the galaxy. Their presence on the research vessel orbiting SR-388 is cause for alarm, but this is after Mother Brain became the appointed leader. With their newfound intelligence, they were able to enact on Mother Brain's plans to steal from a Galactic Federation research ship that discovered new life form at the time in SR-388. We know this life form to be the Metroids, as the intro shows the Zebesians invade the research ship and seize the Metroid on the ship. With this act alone, the Zebesians has officially earned themselves the title Space Pirates. Because, you know, they stole something on a ship in space. Yeah. So why do I believe the Zebesians are from Zebes? Well, I'll take it further. I don't only believe they're from Zebes, I also believe that they are the original life form of Zebes, contradicting what Sakamoto said, stating them to be conquerors of the land. In Metroid Prime games, we don't see Zebesians as space pirates at all. This is likely because without Mother Brain, the Zebesians are too hard to control, as even with a proper leader, the Zebesians will eventually become feral, as stated in Other M. So the Zebesians are unable to act as an intelligent life form unless they have Mother Brain. But Mother Brain is a Chozo creation, who is bound to Torian in her capsule, which renders her completely immobile. She cannot move around at all, unless Mother Brain's psionic powers are able to reach the far ends of the galaxy, which make it seem very impossible in the first place for Mother Brain to command the Zebesians to invade Zebes. But what if another leader brought the space pirates over to Zebes, which allowed Mother Brain to then control them? Aside from Mother Brain, there are 4 other entities that are known to be the space pirate leaders in the 2D Metroid games. These 4 figures appeared in Super Metroid, serving as gatekeepers of Torian. They are Dragon, Phantoon, Kraid, and Ridley. Phantoon is a creature with 3 different origins, but none of them seem to be plausible for Phantoon to have led the Zebesians beforehand. At least it doesn't seem plausible until you watch my other theory about why Phantoon could have started everything in Metroid. But that's just a theory, and until we have confirmation, it will not be treated as a source of information. So with Phantoon's origin, the Japanese Super Metroid manual says Phantoon is the manifestation of Mother Brain's psionic powers, making Phantoon a creature that was indirectly created by Mother Brain. Or in the English Super Metroid manual, Phantoon is a stowaway from the ghost ship, feeding off the electricity there, so So it's a creature that's been on Zebes since the day the Chozo crash landed onto Zebes, and according to the Japanese manual, Chozos have inhabited Zebes since hundreds of millennia ago. This completely crossed out Phantoon. Next is Kraid, a gigantic three-eyed lizard whose destructive power comes from its sheer size. But Kraid is all brawns but no brains. We know this is true because in the Metroid manga, both Kraid and Ridley appeared, and while Ridley was able to speak, the same cannot be said for Kraid by the time Kraid appeared. All he can do was make animal noise. He wasn't able to communicate at all. Mother Brain had to do the communication for him, which clearly shows that he's pretty primitive compared to the other space pirates. But let's address the elephant in the room. That's Kraid's elephant size. The space pirate ship is large enough to contain him in the in-game map size when you explore through Chozodia, but there really isn't any chambers that seem to be designed to have Kraid inside. Also within the cutscene, the mothership doesn't appear to be that much bigger than Kraid, but that could just be warp perspective. It also doesn't make sense for Kraid to be the one to bring the Zebesians over to Zebes. Kraid has always been seen as more of a sidekick to Ridley, and his intelligence is so low, he wouldn't be able to command the space pirate to drive the ship, much less build one. And with the space pirate unable to act as a high form of intelligence without Mother Brain, I think this completely rules out Kraid as well. What about Dragon then? Dragon is a complete mystery. There is little to no information about him other than it being an extremely large Eevee, likely through mutation as suggested in the Super Metroid Nintendo Player's Guide, as the player guide calls Dragon both a mutant and a reptile. The chances of Dragon taking the Zebesians to Zebes could be possible, as I believe Dragon might actually possess a high level of intelligence, which will be tackled in another day. But because Dragon is an aquatic creature, I don't think he was the one who took the Zebesians to Zebes, because an aquatic creature like him shouldn't have any business in going to a planet known for its harsh environment with volcanoes. The Eevee also looks like they are native to Meridia, as they dwell within the quicksand area of Meridia. One last thing that works against Dragon's favor is that he wasn't one of the original leaders for Metroid Zero Mission. At the end of Zero Mission, Samus and the Galactic Federation believed the space pirates were completely destroyed. If Dragon was one of the leaders before Mother Brain, wouldn't he be known to the Galactic Federation or to Samus? This means that Dragon was likely the newly appointed leader while the space pirates were hiding in Zebes. Finally, there is Ridley. Ridley's origins are also shrouded in mystery, much like the other space pirates, but we do know that he is able to travel through space, as shown in Metroid Zero Mission and when he first invaded planet K2L. Ridley was also said to have built the Ridley robot with his own hands, so him building the mothership isn't that far out of reach either. So it is very likely Ridley is the one who brought the Zebesians over to Zebes. But where did Ridley come from himself? We don't know his origins, and until the games answer this question, we may never know. But so far, I have this theory of Ridley's origin. But again, it's another theory, so I won't be using it as evidence. But what is official is that both the original Metroid game says Ridley is a native creature of planet Zebes. I could see why they called Ridley a native creature on the original game, since they probably never planned all these lore and stories to come afterwards. But they didn't bother to update that information in 2004, when the lore was largely overhauled. If Ridley is indeed native to Zebes, then that completely works against Ridley being the one who brought the Zebesians to planet Zebes then. Now that we have established that no one was able to bring the Zebesians to planet Zebes, let's have a look at the fresco seen in Metroid Dread. The frescoes seen in ZDR depict a battle between the Morkans and the Zebesians in Metroid Dread, with Mother Brain on the Chozo side. This fresco would have us believe that the Morkans were protecting their home at the time, but let's look at the fresco from a different angle. No, I don't mean it literally, I mean figuratively. Here, if we look at the fresco, it also depicts a Morkan warrior making a Zebesian submit to him by grabbing onto his claw. I believe this fresco isn't a depiction of Zebesians invading the Chozos on Zebes, but rather it is a depiction of the Chozos conquering Zebesians, when they have crash landed onto planet Zebes hundreds of millennia ago. The Zebesians seen in the fresco was just trying to protect their homeland when the Chozos arrived on Zebes, but it's a fight between caveman and futuristic bird military, with the Zebesians being the caveman. This could very well be possible. The Metroid manga have confirmed the Chozos used to be a warmongering species, so conquest and domination from them certainly is very possible. Now let's have a look at the Zebesians themselves. The Zebesians have anatomical structures similar to that of the Zebes creatures that we know are native to Zebes. The Zoomers, Scree, Rippers, Wavers, Zebs, all have thick carapace like the Zebesians. In fact, there are multiple crab enemies being the Sizer and the Garuda. The Zebesians themselves also look like crabs themselves. So what are the chances? Okay, pretty high, since Martian areas always seem to depict aliens as some kind of crab people. But still, with all these circumstantial evidence, being the 5 space pirates can't possibly have led the Zebesians to planet Zebes, the fresco that was found in ZDR showing a battle between the Chozos and the Zebesians, and the appearance of the Zebesians looking like the creatures on planet Zebes, these all seem to point that Zebesians are in fact from Zebes. But as I said in the very beginning, everything has been disproven by Daddy Sakamoto when he said the Zebesians are invaders, much like the Americans calling themselves Americans once they took the land. That's what the translator quote says apparently. But while I do see Daddy Sakamoto as the source of Metroid lore, do not forget that this man also retconned Metroid lore twice now, once with Zero Mission and twice with Samus Returns. And he is also the same man that got rid of the gravity suit in Metroid Other M, because he said, "Why is Samus wearing purple?" Completely confused why Samus is purple even though Samus has been purple since Super Metroid. This shows that not all words from Sakamoto are gospel, and his quote that the Zebesians are invaders are one such that should not be taken seriously. So that's it for this theory. If you enjoyed this theory, why not watch the other 2 theories I mentioned during the video? One being Phantoon started everything in the Metroid universe, and the other one is Ridley being an experiment from the Chozos. While you're at it, why not subscribe to me as well? Or else you are gonna miss the next juicy video that is specifically about Dragon. So subscribe now, or I'll contact Nintendo not to release any Metroid Prime 4 information until 2024. It's your choice.